Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Errol Spence Jr. versus Carlos Ocampo. It looks like a deal has been reached for that June date that Showtime announced earlier this year. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I did a couple live streams earlier today. YouTube, if you update the app, you can now leave super chats via iOS, iPhone devices. Before it was only Android. So shout out to the people who donated. And we're just going to keep working, keep building this thing. Ego Army, you know what it is. I did a video about this. Errol Spence versus Carlos Ocampo. They had set a date for a purse bid because at the time the camps hadn't publicized that they had come to an agreement for June 16th. That was the date that Errol Spence is slated to return. And they had up until, I believe, March 6th it was, to come to an agreement. And if they didn't before that time, then they would have to do a purse bid, which is an auction style, and they'll take it from there. But good news is they came to a deal. It looks like both camps are in agreement to take place and have a fight June 16th, Errol Spence versus Carlos Ocampo. Now, I said that in this video and I said in previous videos because new media, we're not playing the game. Ego Army, stand up. Let's search for the facts. And I said in these previous videos that I seen this coming a mile away. Carlos Ocampo doesn't have a huge name and people were going to find some way to blame Errol Spence Jr. and his team for fighting Carlos Ocampo. But you have to question this. Errol Spence Jr. just fought Lamont Peterson in January. This is his second fight. And if it's up to him, he probably wants to fight a third time this particular year. Lamont Peterson was a name, and it was in the Barclays Center. He had just won the title. His first title defense is a name veteran who gave people like Danny Garcia and Amir Khan problems. Beat Amir Khan, arguably beat Danny Garcia, and Lamont Peterson got blown out of the water by Errol Spence Jr. Fact, if you watch that fight. And now he's getting ready for his second fight, a hometown fight. He deserves that because guess what? He went to Kell Brook's backyard and made him take a knee like Colin Kaepernick in Sheffield. So he's been, in my opinion, kind of owed a hometown fight. Plus, this satisfies an IBF mandatory. Again, don't call Errol Spence a cherry picker and be mad when the IBF, this is their ranking. He's merely an IBF champion. This is who they have ranked. If they had Sean Porter or somebody ranked, then that would have been the case. But this is who they have ranked as number 3, the highest ranking person, because they don't have anyone in the number 1 or number 2 spot last time I checked. So you can't blame Errol Spence. Oh, he's a cherry picker. This is the IBF ranking who they decided is the highest ranking person in their sanctioning body. Errol Spence being the IBF champion, he has to just fight the next person in line, right? And it satisfies the mandatory. Now, finally, this one's pretty important. Aside from the IBF ranking and who they have, and like, because to me it doesn't make sense. They had Konstantin Ponomarev ranked very high for a long time, and I'm like, how is Sean Porter not in the top 20, but you have Konstantin Ponomarev and all these other guys, right? So I don't get the ranking either. But this is probably one of the most important points: is all the people who are going to talk shit and say, oh, Errol Spence, he's fighting Carlos Ocampo, he's not ready. Ocampo is a cherry pick. That's too much of a step up. Check this out. Errol Spence has actively pursued the best names in his division. Keith Thurman already said, nope, not going to happen, baby. 2018, not going to happen. At first, his interviews, he was saying like, oh, kind of maybe, it's not a high priority. And then as he kept getting interviewed, he just came out and said he's not fighting Errol Spence in 2018. That's a unification, that's a great fight, and that's a champion. So, guess what? Keith Thurman, based on his injury and him foreshadowing his career path, he's already ruled that out. Can't blame Errol Spence Jr. for that. Sean Porter did a recent interview, and Sean Porter literally said, I wasn't thinking about Errol Spence 3 years ago. I wasn't thinking about Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. I wasn't speaking or thinking about Spence 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So sorry, I'm not thinking about him right now. my sights are on Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia. So that, plus the fact that he's not ranked top 20 with the IBF, he's kind of taking himself out of contention too. He's like, I got bigger fish to fry. Danny Garcia recently has said that he'll fight Errol Spence Jr., but I mean, I haven't really heard any kind of motions and thoughts that he really wants to make that fight. I haven't heard. I don't know that I'm convinced that he wants to make that fight. So once again, all the people, oh, Errol Spence is cherry picking. He's fighting a mandatory. And this is what I hate about boxing, is the fans always play dumb. You know the situation. You know Keith Thurman ruled out Errol Spence. Even though it was the beginning of the year, he ruled him out way back then, that he wasn't fighting Errol Spence Jr. at all this year, right? So that's one great name that he could have fought. Then Sean Porter, he says I wasn't checking for him 3, 2, or 1 year ago. So basically, I'm not fighting him. I'm searching for these two guys that I've been calling out. And then, like I said, Danny Garcia, he mentioned Errol Spence Jr.'s name, but he mentioned a lot of guys, and I haven't seen any real persistence or insistence. Jeff Horn, another champion, he's fighting Terrence Crawford. So, and he's probably going to lose to Terrence Crawford, right? So, y'all got to stop and stop playing dumb. You know why Errol Spence would be fighting this person, and it is what it is. So, it's not a cherry pick. And bottom line, most of these guys haven't even seen Carlos Ocampo. They don't know his stats. They don't know nothing about him. They just haven't heard of him. So all of them automatically, they're taking him out of contention. Errol Spence, like I said, he deserves a hometown fight. And this is satisfying as mandatory that the IBF set forth. So if you had a problem with this fight, contact the IBF and ask them about their rankings. Why is this guy ranked? Errol Spence is simply just going through the list of names. And if it were up to him, you can already tell he definitely would have fought the Keith Thurmans of the world, the Danny Garcias of the world. Amir Khan recently mentioned him, but Amir Khan got to get past Phil LaGreco. And like I said, I'd be shocked if Amir Khan said he wants to fight, you know what I mean, Errol Spence June 16th. So be realistic, new media. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.